Most people don't realize this when they first start trading, but there is a phase that every successful trader eventually faces. It's not the exciting phase when everything feels new and full of possibility. It's not the profitable phase where things finally begin to work. It's the phase in between, the difficult one. The phase where nothing seems to go right. The phase where your confidence gets torn apart trade after trade. The phase where you start asking yourself a question that many traders quietly struggle with. Am I even built for this? If you've been trading long enough, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the stage where you feel like you're trying everything, studying strategies, watching charts, journaling trades, and yet somehow the results still don't match the effort. Losses pile up, mistakes repeat themselves, your motivation rises and falls like a roller coaster, and eventually, the doubt creeps in. But here's something important you need to understand. This phase isn't a sign that trading isn't for you. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's a phase almost every consistently profitable trader has gone through. I went through it. People in my trading community went through it. Even the mentor who taught me many of the lessons I know today admitted that he experienced the same struggle. And here's the harsh truth. Most traders quit during this stage, not because they're lazy, not because they don't want success badly enough, but because nobody prepares them for how emotionally demanding this phase can be. Everyone talks about the dream. They talk about financial freedom. They talk about quitting your job. They talk about trading from a laptop while traveling the world. But very few people talk about the part of the journey where you feel completely lost. The part where trading forces you to confront parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. Today I want to talk honestly about that phase, what it feels like, why it happens, and why surviving it is one of the most important steps toward becoming a real trader. The 3 phases of a trader. I remember a conversation with my mentor many years ago. At the time, I was frustrated, confused, and honestly questioning whether trading was even worth continuing. I had just blown another small account. Not a huge amount of money, but enough to feel embarrassed. I remember sitting across from him explaining what happened, trying to justify my decisions, trying to explain the setups, trying to convince him that I understood what I was doing. He listened patiently and then said something I'll never forget. Every trader goes through 3 phases: the fun phase, the painful phase, and the profitable phase. Then he added something that stuck with me. Most people never survive phase 2. At the time, I didn't fully understand what he meant, but over the years, I realized exactly how accurate that statement was. Phase 1. The fun phase. This is the stage where everything feels exciting. Every chart looks like an opportunity. Every trade feels like a chance to make something happen. You might win a few trades early, and those wins create confidence, sometimes even overconfidence. You start imagining what life could look like if you really master this skill. You picture the freedom, the independence, the possibility of building something for yourself. It feels exciting, but that excitement doesn't last forever, because eventually, reality shows up. Phase 2. The painful phase. This is where things change. Losses start appearing more often. Strategies that seemed perfect suddenly stop working. You realize trading isn't as simple as it first appeared, and slowly the emotional pressure begins. This is the phase where traders begin questioning themselves. You start wondering if you're doing something wrong. You start comparing yourself to other traders. You start asking yourself whether you're capable of succeeding. And that's when many traders begin considering quitting. Jordan's story. I remember a trader in my community named Jordan. Jordan was the kind of person you'd expect to succeed quickly. He was intelligent, disciplined, organized. He approached trading seriously from the start, but his first 6 months were brutal. Every time he had a small winning streak, it was followed by a losing one.
Every time he thought he was making progress, something unexpected would happen. A news spike, a sudden reversal, a mistake in execution, and suddenly he was back where he started. One day he messaged me and said something many traders eventually say: "I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I'm still losing." I told him something that my mentor once told me: "You're not doing everything right yet. You're doing everything you believe is right. The market hasn't humbled you enough to teach you the rest." At the time, he didn't like hearing that, and honestly, neither did I when I first heard it, but it was true. Trading exposes everything. The painful phase exists because trading exposes things most people don't expect. It exposes impatience, it exposes ego, it exposes emotional habits, it exposes your reaction to stress and uncertainty. In normal life, many of those things stay hidden, but the markets have a way of bringing them out quickly. You might think your strategy is the problem. Sometimes it is, but more often the deeper issue is emotional discipline, and that's no indicator or strategy can fix overnight. Malik's journey. Another trader I knew named Malik started trading for a very different reason. He wasn't chasing flashy lifestyles or social media fame. He simply wanted to create a better future for his family. He approached trading with determination, but the markets tested him harder than he expected. Every time he learned a new strategy, he believed he had finally figured things out.
He'd win a few trades, confidence would rise, and then suddenly the market would humble him again. One week he made about $600. He felt incredible. He believed the breakthrough had finally arrived. The following week he lost double that amount, and when he called me, he sounded defeated. "I think trading just isn't meant for me." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I had heard those exact words before, from myself and from many other traders. So I told him something my mentor once told me: "You're not cursed, you're just early." The real cost of learning trading. The truth is that trading has a tuition fee, but it's rarely paid in a classroom. It's paid through experience, through mistakes, through emotional lessons, through moments that test your patience and discipline. You pay with frustration, you pay with humility, you pay with the parts of yourself that still need growth, and eventually those lessons start shaping you into a different kind of trader. Knowledge versus discipline. One trader I worked with named Ethan understood trading concepts incredibly quickly. He could analyze charts faster than most beginners. He understood patterns and market structure, but he struggled with something much harder to control: his emotions. Whenever he had a winning trade, he closed it too early out of fear. Whenever he had a losing trade, he froze instead of managing the risk. And whenever he missed a move, he chased the market impulsively. One day he said something that perfectly described the painful phase: "I know what I'm supposed to do, I just don't do it." That gap between knowledge and execution is where many traders struggle. Your mind understands the rules, but your emotions haven't learned to follow them yet, and bridging that gap takes time. Sophia's lesson. Another trader named Sophia experienced a different kind of struggle. She was extremely organized. She treated trading like studying for a difficult exam. She took notes, reviewed charts, kept detailed journals, but she had one habit that repeatedly hurt her results. She refused to close losing trades, not because she believed they would recover, but because closing them meant admitting she was wrong. One day she held a losing trade far longer than she should have. It was meant to be a short scalp, but she held it for hours. By the time she closed it, she had lost a large portion of her account. Later, she sent me a message that captured something many traders eventually realize: trading reveals parts of you that you didn't know were there. And she was absolutely right. The plateau phase. One of the most frustrating parts of the painful phase is something traders call the plateau. This is the period where you're no longer a complete beginner, but you're not profitable either. You're somewhere in the middle. You study, you practice, you improve slightly, but the results still feel inconsistent. This stage can last months, sometimes even years, and it's the stage where most traders quit because it feels like nothing is happening.
But something is happening. It's just happening internally. You're developing patience, you're improving discipline, you're learning how to control impulsive decisions. Those changes don't always show up immediately in your profit and loss, but eventually they begin to transform your trading. The moment everything clicks. I remember a trader named Brianna who experienced this shift. For months, she felt like she was stuck. Her results were inconsistent, her confidence went up and down, but she kept studying and improving. Then one day she messaged me and said something interesting. Something felt different today. I didn't panic. I didn't chase trades. I just followed my plan. That moment might not sound dramatic, but for traders, it's huge, because that's when the transformation begins. Not when profits suddenly explode, but when emotional control finally catches up with knowledge. The real transformation. My mentor once said something that perfectly describes this process. The market forces you to become the person you need to be before it gives you the results you want. And that's why the painful phase exists. It's not there to punish you, it's there to shape you, to build patience, to build discipline, to build emotional stability. Those qualities can't be skipped, they can't be rushed, they can only be developed through experience. The final truth. If you're currently in the painful phase of trading, I want you to understand something important. Feeling frustrated doesn't mean you're failing. Feeling lost doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you're going through the same transformation that many successful traders have experienced. One day, something will click. Your mindset will shift. Your decisions will become calmer. Your discipline will strengthen. And you'll look back at this difficult phase with a completely different perspective, because you'll realize something powerful. The painful phase wasn't the part that almost broke you, it was the part that built you. And the traders who survive it are the ones who eventually reach the final stage, the profitable phase, where discipline replaces emotion, consistency replaces chaos, and trading finally begins to feel like something you understand. Master the mind, and the markets will eventually follow.